In an unexpected twist, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis will not be taking the stand for a second day of testimony today. Willis is in charge of former President Trump's 2020 election interference case in Georgia. And during her testimony on Thursday, she acknowledged having a relationship with a special prosecutor on the case, but she vehemently rebuked any allegations that that relationship was improper or that either had financially benefited from it.
I listened to the argument this morning where Adam Abadi, I thought, did an excellent job pointing out how dishonest you were with the court on Monday. And I'm actually surprised that the hearing continued. But since it did, here I am.
CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins us now from outside of that courthouse in Atlanta. So, Nikole, let's just start off because yesterday when we were talking, we weren't sure if Willis was going to testify at all. Her attorneys were fighting a subpoena, and then she got up and said, I'm ready to go. But then today she decided not to testify again. What's behind that?
Yeah, well, it wasn't necessarily the district attorney saying she didn't want to testify, but rather the state saying that it had no further questions for Willis. Of course, most of the questioning that the district attorney faced were from the defense team, being, the lawyers of former President Trump, the lawyers for Michael Roman, the co-defendant who filed the original complaint against Fani Willis. And, of course, there were a number of other attorneys representing the various co-defendants in this sprawling racketeering case. So those were the attorneys doing most of the questioning yesterday, which explains why it was more combative, because at the end of the day, these are people that the district attorney is prosecuting, and yet she is on the other side of the coin with them peppering her with questions. So I think that's why you kind of saw more of that defensive exchange on her part to try to clear the record. But as for the state, these are attorneys both representing the district attorney, Nathan Wade. So this morning they said that they didn't have any questions for her, and so that is why that testimony did not proceed.
Yeah, it was. I mean, she was certainly. She had the receipts. She was in a sense, but she certainly was defending herself so vehemently. I wonder if that was part of the reason why they decided that they didn't need to do a redirect at all, because they felt like she had spoken her piece. I wonder, though, Nikole, given that you're watching all of this, what are the chances now that Willis or Wade could become disqualified from the election interference case?
Yeah, well, I do want to point out very briefly that while we didn't hear from the district attorney again today, we did hear from her father, who testified on the stand, and he also talked about some of the threats that the district attorney has faced. Of course, one of the issues that came up during some of the testimony yesterday is the fact that the district attorney had moved out of her house into this condo, and whether or not, as part of her relationship with Nathan Wade, she and Wade spent time at this particular condo, but her father mostly talking about the fact that security was a big factor in why the district attorney moved out to this condo. He also talked about why she had a lot of cash on hand. Of course, that's something that also came up yesterday when she talked about paying Nathan Wade back. But one thing that was interesting about his testimony is he said that he did not know about this relationship between his daughter and Nathan Wade. So to answer your second question with respect to what happens next, we are not expecting a decision today from the judge who is listening to all of this witness testimony. Unclear exactly when he will make his decision, but basically the decision before him is whether or not the district attorney financially benefited in any way from this relationship with Nathan Wade. And if he establishes that there was a conflict of interest, she could potentially be dismissed from the case. Nathan Wade could be dismissed from the case, or it could possibly be moved to another jurisdiction.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear that it was either a conflict of interest or the perception of a conflict of interest. All right, Nikole Killion, thank you.